The UK economy is struggling with one of the highest inflation rates amongst the G7. What's the G7? It's the 7 largest industrialized democracies, which includes France, Germany, Canada, Italy, Japan, UK, and the US. Stay tuned. I want to speak about why the UK is experiencing higher inflation than the others, as well as my new situation job-wise. Hello, welcome to Simon Cover channel. I'm an African-British man, truck driver in the UK for ages, always talking about trucking as well as the economy and bits about travel and general information, life lessons and things like that. Anyway, I'm talking about the UK and inflation. I've got figures, February figures as well as March. The UK, I'm comparing UK as well as EU and then US. I've put EU in the mix there instead of going into Germany and all the rest. Generally EU, yeah, as they can be taken as one. The UK in Feb had a rate, the highest rate was 12%. Okay, 12%. The EU was around 8%. In the US, it was about 6%. When it went for March, all of them improved. The UK went down to 10%. EU went down to 7% roughly. I think it was 6 point something, maybe 6.9, but around 7%. And the US was faring at 5%. That's in March. What are the biggest reasons? What's the big difference? The UK went through Brexit. Okay? Brexit was a big issue around the UK's economy, and it also came before all of these other influences, the pandemic as well as the war. So Brexit was very untimely because it gave the UK that weakness before the pandemic. We had Brexit, then we had the war, and then now we're in a crisis, which others did not go through that change. Obviously, we left the EU. That means we took the pain than the others. Okay, as one economy left all the 28 and leaving. One economy left the 27. That means we took the pain. Another issue is the energy cap. Everyone else has been. The US actually have huge potential making their own energy. Okay, the US creates all that petroleum and all of that, it covers. Within the US, there's a lot of energy production. The EU had a cap. In France, they have a cap for their prices. There's a place where they couldn't increase, as well as they had sourced this gas a lot better than the UK. If you heard about the UK and Apple, in April, something happened. They told us, all of us, about it. Remember, that was when the prices were going to be flying. I hear the prices rose up to 54% from April. So that was a big issue in comparison with the rest that haven't had that. So Brexit, then the gas prices that had no cap, unlike others, as well as the third issue is the import-export balance. The balance of trade for UK. UK actually imports a lot more goods than it exports, which means that when there's a crisis bringing things in, logistics-wise, we're suffering more than all the others. The others can sort of produce things within, unlike the UK, which is an island that imports a lot of stuff. For instance, the UK relies on the EU for even just dairy products. Can you imagine dairy products? Milk. Yeah, milk, cheese, and yogurts and things like that. Imagine having to import all of that. You wonder why we actually don't have the dairy in here. But that's just a little example. We're importing a lot more stuff compared to other economies. That is now knocking us via prices. Okay? 3 highlights. Now, that obviously has affected the economy. Wages are not going up that quick. No wonder there are all strikes everywhere. Everyone's striking. But the prices are right up there. That means we are suffering a lot more than anyone else. That means the UK has had this, what was I saying? On that note, I went and registered. I'm now a company driver. I've changed something that I haven't done in over 10 years. You get me? 10 years. Right now, nowadays, in my opinion, to be an agency driver is gotten hardest and probably not viable, because you're going to be there waiting. I haven't had anywhere where, maybe it's because I'm in and out, but as I'm also talking I'm talking for myself, but also in general. Nowadays, it's hard to find an agency place where you can work full-time, which means that those days you just call in and they need you full-time, which full-time for a trucker is 5 days at least. So I was struggling to find a place where they need me for 5 days in a week, meaning that it was dropping to 2 days a week, 3 days a week, random places, 1 day over there, 2 days over there, which is not adding up. That means at least, yes, when you register, sometimes the difference is there's a big difference in how much you're earning. But guess what? You need that that safety net, financial safety net, knowing that you're going to have a job every other week. So that's the new thing with me now. I've got a job. Finally, I've got a job. Okay, I'm settling in on a new class 1 truck driving job. I won't be mentioning what company. That's going to be kept under wraps. But yeah, truck driving job, fairly easy. Nothing to do with unloading. You just drive trailers, pick a trailer, wait for it, or swap a trailer. That's what I'm doing. Okay, that's the new update. I have for over 10 years. It's for my own reasons. I love to travel. I love to go away and do businesses abroad. I love to be flexible. I used to never ever take an offer of a job, but now, as I say, things have changed and I have a job. In my opinion, it's just the security, financial security. I know people can still survive, especially because I'm in and out. I think if you've been here for like a whole year and haven't gone anywhere, you actually can still survive as agencies. That means that all these changes have found you in a place. Okay, if you're already working with someone and you don't do no mistakes, although as agency you never have any assurance, but normally if you've been working with them and you don't have any troubles, they leave you there. But if you've been out, like I came back two months ago, 8 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, so my in and out now is calling for me to actually register somewhere before I lose time. So that's the new update. And as I say, I was just relating with the economy. The economy is really tricky here in the UK. It's been shrinking and prices jumping without wages going up. So mine has gone and registered. How did I find my new job? I went chit-chatting somewhere, yeah, and actually gotten let go on another job. All right, I went to, first of all, after the job that I was speaking about on my last 3 videos. If you haven't watched those videos, please go have a look. Yeah, I'm going to probably leave a little thing on there. Is it here or this way? Yeah, tap it after the video. Anyway, I went again on another place and it was a class 2 job again. Straight trucks is what in the UK we call class 2. That means no trailer, just many drops. Mainly in class 2, they are giving so many stops that are impossible. This was also an impossible one. It was 15 drops, yeah? And the first thing that they wanted out of the 15 places was to pick, to add on to what you've got. Before you take out anything, go and collect. I said, nah. I went to take out stuff before I put more troubles on there. So they didn't like it. You get me? Illogical things. You know, people who are sitting sometimes in the office today, actually, I'm not going to talk about them. But in this instance, they had 15 places to go, but the first place they wanted you to go to was to add on to the lorry, to collect. And yet, what was on the lorry was already mostly full. So to add on something before you actually take off anything, if you're a driver, you know what that means. It's a ridiculous request. I said nah, I went and tried to take off things as quick, and I said I would go back and pick, and then they didn't like it. So this lot, by the time actually in middle of the jobs, they didn't even tell me after. They told me when I was still trying to get rid of things and go and pick after. They told me, your shifts have been cancelled. This is your last one. Finish your job and you're not going to go back tomorrow. They had booked me for a week, so they said, we don't want your services. So I just thought, okay, I'm going to finish this. I finished it the best I could, and then I went somewhere I was passing somewhere, and I thought, let me go say hi to the guy over there, the guard, some guard in the yard. And I thought, let me go and say hello. When I went there, and I told the guy my story, he said, what? I know people. Ring this guy. Okay? Ring him now. Ring him now. That's what I did. The guy told me, I'll call you tomorrow, we'll speak tomorrow, and we took it from there, and then boom, I got a job. Very big job, good job actually. So thank you, shout out to that fella whose name I'm going to just call B. Okay? Shout out to B, that fella who connected me. And actually your bottle of wine is still on the way. Alright? That's if you haven't got it by the time I put this video out. Thank you. That's how I got it. So I'm just trying to say, keeping cheerful and just faithful will bring up all the good things. I have a gossip as well today. One day, are you a royalist, by the way? How did you enjoy the coronation on telly? I bet everyone was on telly. It's all history. What can we say? It's all history. There are people who think, you shouldn't watch that, you shouldn't enjoy that, you shouldn't. But it's history. There's nothing you can do. You can't be angry at history. Things change, and that's how it was. Yeah? I've had some people unhappy. Don't watch it. Don't do this. Don't do what. You know, people who are anti-anarchy, anti-monarchs. In fact, that reminds me, when Charles, that was his first days, when King Charles went to Edinburgh. It was, I think, between Edinburgh Castle and the street and whatever. There was some guy who tried to throw eggs at him. Boom. That guy was roughed up by people. You know, many people actually like the royal family. So this guy was bundled up very quickly by masses there and taken in an alley, and I hear the police let the guys do that to him, and instead also arrested him. They didn't do nothing to the other guys, the public who were roughing him up. They instead caught him out after being roughed up and arrested him. You get me? It's history, and there's nothing you can do. The royal family did what they did, but that is British history. I think also, economic-wise, they have helped this economy very well by boosting and bringing all these visitors in this country. Lately, if you went looking, last week and the other week before, there was all these phone calls from all the agencies that the jobs are back, the jobs are back, the jobs are back. It's because of what the royal family is doing for the economy. Visitors have come to check this out, and it has helped the economy. You get? That's the little bit of gossip. There's also another thing I was saying. One time I was in a truck. There's a story that I wanted to tell about truck driving. Some few years ago, I was driving a class 2 truck, okay? And I was agency. Because now that I'm not agency, I hate agency anymore. I'm just reminiscing and seeing and thinking, my gosh, agency is some hard thing as well. Can be. When you're agency, you don't have any right, and people really want to stamp that in you. You don't have a right. They can do what they want. They'll break the rules, because who are you going to ring? They'll break the rules in your face. One day I was on break on the lay-by, okay? I was working for a network of companies. They have many depots. Now, one random guy, I was on break. I think I was reading a book. Sometimes I do read a book. Some truck drivers do read books. You know, that was the before, actually, the times of smartphones. Before the smartphone era. Because now everyone is on the smartphone, isn't it? You're on the TikTok, you're on the YouTube, you're on whatever, you're in the news, yeah, Netflix, whatever people do. I was on a book, I think I was reading a book, and on a lay-by, I was just surprised by some abrupt opening of the door, of the driver door. Boom! Huh? Who did I see? A random guy I don't know. I jumped. So he asked me, what are you doing here? I'm like, what's up? What? Who are you? So the guy tells me I'm the manager in this company and blah, blah. I'm like, what? Are you serious? I didn't recognize him because he wasn't a manager at my depot, but he was a manager at another depot with this company. So he thought I'm agency with that depot which he's with, because they don't never know any face. So at his depot, they weren't allowed to park on that particular lay-by. I don't know why. There are some places they'll tell you do not park on these. Maybe there are robbers on that one, or we just, you know, everyone has their own instructions. So I think they were not accepted. They were not allowed to park around on that road, on that lay-by in his depot. So mine came and opened the door and started exchanging with me. I'm thinking, who's this mad guy? Luckily, I kept cool until he explained who he was. But I was shocked. I thought I just told him off. Are you serious? You can do that to someone randomly? What if some guy comes out and gives you one or two? Because they don't know you. You look like a MAGA. You can't actually do that. He didn't knock, yeah? Or something. You can knock. You can't open a door and start exchanging with someone and they don't know you and you don't know them. What if they do? That is actually was passing a test. Oh guys, I won't go on and on and on. Make sure to sub to this lovely channel if you haven't done that yet, and leave us a thumbs up if you've enjoyed this video, as well as share this video with anyone you know that it suits. Okay, going to leave it at this. I want to say stay safe, God bless, love.